So a few weeks ago, there was a brawl that happened in Cincinnati, Ohio, between a mob of black people and a few white people, probably about 3 or 4 white people, and a mob of black people. Now, many people believe that this brawl had everything to do with race. And if you've seen the video, it's kind of clear as day that it had everything to do with race. The black people, in my opinion, and of course it's caught on camera, they were extremely violent, extremely just violent, aggressive, and they were beating up white people for no reason. Now, when I say no reason, meaning you can say what you want to say, right? If they said anything to offend the black people, to be honest, they have the right to do that. I know a lot of people would disagree with me. Oh, well, they said something, so that's what they get. They get what they deserve. You can't say racist stuff and not expect to get beat up. Well, actually, living in America and having the freedom of speech to say whatever you want to say, you actually can say whatever you want to say. Now, where the law comes in is where you beat them up for saying what they say. Now, I get it. Racism isn't, something to be played with. It's not something that people likes, but if we're looking at the logicalness of this here, and we're looking at what's right is the fact that it's nothing that you can say. There is nothing that you can say to have ended up beat up the way that these white people did. I don't care what they said. I don't care if they said the N-word, I hope you die, your mother's a cunt. Whatever they said, it does not excuse black people from jumping these white people. That means you still feel some type of way about what happened 200 years ago. You weren't even in slavery and they weren't slaves. So I don't even understand how this transpired the way that it did. But for those who've seen the video, there was a white woman, middle-aged white woman, who was actually knocked out by one of the brawlers, a black man, and she was knocked out conscious in the street from trying to break up the brawl. She wasn't fighting, she wasn't violent or anything. She was simply just trying to help out her fellow partner, her friend that she had just met, from getting jumped and beat up by a mob of black people. I think she made the mistake by jumping in between a fight of two men, regardless of who was right and who was wrong. I understand her heart, but at the end of the day, she's a female, so the power definitely overtook at that moment. And she ended up on the ground with a black eye, a busted nose, a busted lip, her whole entire face literally black and purple. The sight is very disgusting. It's sad. But she actually spoke out. So we're actually going to look at this interview and see what she had to say about what happened that particular night, because nobody really knows. I seen parts and bits of the video of what she said, but not in its entirety. But we're going to watch it together. Now, the images of this woman is brutal. It's brutal, and honest to God, it brought tears to my eyes, because I'm like, well, how can anybody just hit a woman the way that he hit her, with no remorse, no regrets, anything? He just hit her like she was a man, all because she was trying to stop them from beating up her friend, her white friend. And this is just crazy. And I have so much to say about this video, but we're going to hop into it. But before we do, I almost forgot. Make sure y'all thumbs up this video, like the video. If you like the content, comment down below if you don't, or if you disagree with anything that I'm saying. Just, like the video so that the video can hit the algorithm. And without further ado, we're going to hop right into it.
A sixth suspect has been arrested in the viral mob beatdown in Cincinnati. 26-year-old Aisha Devon is charged with 1 count of aggravated riot and 2 counts of felonious assault on 2 victims. Sources telling Fox 19 that Trisha Mack Devon is the woman in the white bodysuit seen on the video stomping and kicking the man in the white shirt and punching my next guest, Holly, before she was knocked unconscious by a man.
Clearly, you can see that this has everything to do with race. Because why ain't nobody helping this woman immediately when she hits the ground? Not to see if she's going to wake up or something like that. No. As soon as this woman got hit, I would have, ma'am, like, let's get up out of here. We got to go because this ain't the right environment for you. They ain't going to beat me up. Sadly, they probably will because I'm sticking up for white people. But yeah, I totally would have stepped in and said something, but this is ridiculous.
Trisha Mackey is the Fox 19 reporter there, and Devon strutted into court today for her first appearance, and it almost looked as if she was trying to hide a smile.
She's 26 years old. She's a Cincinnati native, is a 6-year-old daughter that resides with her and relies on her for care. As the court just said,
she says that she has a severe concussion and bruising all over her body, and sometimes her pain level remains at 9. Holly joins me tonight in a TV exclusive from an undisclosed location. Holly, first of all, thank you so much for coming in to tell your story tonight. Now, what started out for you, I understand, as a night celebrating your friend's birthday.
Now, I'm going to pause this before she speaks. I just want to say, she did this interview with Fox about 8 or 9 days after the brawl, and she still has a black eye. She still has a black eye. That should just tell you the severity of how hard this man hit her in her face.
They turned into this horrific beatdown. I want to show everyone a picture of you from that night. This was taken after you finally got away from your attackers. I had not seen that picture until just now. So my first question, Holly, is how are you doing tonight?
You know what, Laura? I am feeling hopeful. So, even though I'm in excruciating pain, I'm feeling hopeful for the future because I think some good is going to come out of this. I think a lot of people have outpoured their cries and their need for help and justice system that has been failing them and running rampant through the country. So I think now, we're gonna start getting some answers, not just for me, but for everyone else who also has been in a situation like this or a loved one. And I think that we're gonna be coming together as a nation, and we're gonna rise up together and get some answers from the justice system of why in every city a lot of crime has just been running rampant like this.
Holly, take us back to that night. What time it was. You were out and you're enjoying yourself, and what happened when you went outside to leave where you were. Just give us some background on that.
So we were just leaving, waiting for our Uber. When we were leaving the club, nothing inside. There was no hate or anything bad that had happened. So when we came outside, it was pretty shocking when we were being surrounded and, the people that I was with at the birthday party were being attacked and, somebody being beat to an inch of their life in front of me. I felt the need to step in and try and help.
Well, was there anything said? There was no words exchanged between you, your friends, and the individuals, some of them already charged. No words exchanged?
Not really. No. I mean, when we came outside, there were some racist comments. I guess some of the people that we were with were from the country of Russia, and there were a bunch of Russian comments and some people saying that they wanted to beat up the Russians. So I don't even know how they knew where they were from. And then there were some comments about, white people shouldn't be out here or We're going to go night-night, you white bleep words. And so, definitely it was a little scary. And then when they started circling, there were, it was just an attack that should have never happened. And there were a lot of people in the attack. Now that some of the people have been arrested, they have rap sheets that go on for days. And especially the man who punched me in the face, he had just got out of jail a few months before and had felonies on him. And I don't know.
So he shouldn't even been out of jail. He shouldn't even been out. He should at least be at like house arrest or something like that, like a halfway house. He shouldn't even been in the streets. According to the felonies that he had, I don't know, but they were pretty severe according to what she's saying.
Why he was running the streets, and a lot of other people should have never even been out of jail to even do this to me or the others.
Now, what was happening in that moment that you decided as a woman to jump into this situation?
Well, everyone was standing around recording and egging it on and, cheering to them. And I kept waiting for the police to show up and waiting and terrified, and when I realized the police weren't going to come, I could hear someone, the man that I jumped in front of, literally crying to God, please God, somebody save me, somebody help me. It was the third time he had been knocked down and kicked in his face over and over. Somebody had told me 57 times. They had counted through all the videos. And I knew that if I didn't jump in, if he had fallen down one more time, he would not have made it out alive.
Did you know him, Holly?
So
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you know him?
No, I had just met him that night, just a few hours before he came to the birthday party, and that's how I met him.
So you decided to jump in, someone you just had met. I mean, most people, frankly, wouldn't do that. And over how long of a period of time did this transpire? Was this seconds, minutes?
No, I want to say at least a solid 15, 20 minutes this was going on. I mean, the videos that you see are little short blurbs, but this was going on for so long, it was ridiculous. And it was like one crowd would come in and start beating on them, and then another crowd would come in and take their turn. So it wasn't going to stop. It's not like one crowd came in and had their fun kicking them, then there would be more that would come join in. And so I've disgusted at the people who were recording and they didn't call 911. The one person who did call 911 was a victim. One of the guys who had got curb stomped, and then he was able to sneak away and call 911. And that baffles me, and I think that it should be illegal for people to sit there and record violent crimes without at least being, a good Samaritan act or something of calling and then, go and record.
Now, Holly, I want to play a message from the police chief to her department about what happened that night. Watch this.
You made this weekend, outside of this one incident, an amazing success for this city. It is because of your hard work that we are able to have such large-scale events here in Cincinnati.
She called this an incident, and there were a lot of activities going on, big events in Cincinnati and the surrounding area that weekend for sure, but did it feel like an incident to you and the other victims?
It definitely didn't seem like an incident. It seemed like a beatdown attack. I look at it as attempted murder. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. So I think an incident is, it's insulting, to be honest. And I have yet to receive a phone call from her or the mayor just apologizing for what happened and for letting these thugs and criminals run the streets when they should have been in jail to begin with.
The city councilwoman Victoria Parks, Holly, posted on Facebook that you and others, quote, begged for that beatdown And then instead of apologizing for those comments, she made this comment. Watch.
You know, I am a grown woman. That night when I wrote on the internet, I meant it. That's the way I felt, and I'm not going to back down from it.
She's not going to back down. Holly, given how you're feeling, given your injuries, what's your message to Ms. Parks tonight?
I just want to know what kind of leadership you think that this is showing to the rest of the people who are supposed to be serving and protecting. If you are encouraging this kind of behavior, then obviously no change is going to happen for the good. It's going to continue. So for me, I feel like you're part of the problem, not the solution. And I really wish that there were people in a position of power like yours that were part of the solution, not the problem.
Holly, I think everyone's wondering this when they watch this. First of all, how you were doing, and we know you're still hurting. But also people wondering, is this, in your mind, or was it in any way racially motivated in any direction? Either from initial comments, you said no, but from the attackers' comments that you heard at the time or the way they were acting, do you feel like this was a message to people like you, don't come here anymore?
I do, but, I don't feel that they're going to win. So, we're not going to back down and stay out of the streets or go and run and hide. It's unfortunate that this group, wanted to make it into a racial hate beatdown, but I think there are so many amazing Black people out there that I don't want this to become a Black versus white situation. I don't want everyone, the white people to start saying bad things about Black people or it become rioting issues or anything. It's unfortunate that...
Honestly, just to pause it real quickly, I know that she's saying she doesn't want it to become a thing with race, but it's already been a thing with race. Basically, over something that happened 200 years ago. To be honest, Black people just can't let it go. They refuse to let it go. And they don't even understand that them holding on to that unforgiveness is the reason why they are bound, or they feel like they are oppressed that the way they are, unforgiveness. Not saying that you have to be a white person's friend, or if you don't, that's your choice. But to hate a group of people over something that happened 200 years ago when you weren't a slave and they weren't a slave master, I think that's kind of ignorant, and I used to think that way. I used to be all for the Democrats. I used to be all Black Lives Matter until I had an awakening and I realized, wait, all lives matter. Black, white, Asian, European, African, purple, whatever. Every single life matters, even the life of the unborn, So, yeah, until Black people forgive and move forward, it's going to always be a thing with race.
These people made it into hate, but, I don't want retaliation where there's white versus Black going on out there.
No, of course not. I know you're a single mom, 3 kids. I hope none of them have seen that video, but kids can find videos if they have phones. But what is their reaction to what they've seen, and how has this changed your family?
Oh, it is traumatizing. I know my 5-year-old can't stop crying. Every time she would look at me, she'd give me hugs and kisses and say, "Mommy, I have to kiss your face because every time I look at it, it makes me sad." My oldest daughter told me last night, she said she thinks she needs therapy because she's not okay. She's very traumatized because she did unfortunately see the video. Somebody sent it to her, and before I had a chance to warn her, there might be a video out there. You know, and my kids they're not okay, just like I'm not okay, you know, mentally with this, the PTSD. And that's why I realize this doesn't just affect the victims, it affects their families too. So that's why I'm just so passionate that this needs to stop, just everywhere. So,
I agree with you, Holly. All
no
the
more people have to
videoing,
go through this.
yeah, all the videoing of the you know, robbing the stores or smashing people in the face or knocking them down, or it's so heartbreaking on so many levels. And I know for a lot of people who love Cincinnati, and it's a great city, so many great parts of Cincinnati. This isn't one particular part of the city, but it's a great city. Wonderful people from all walks of life in Cincinnati. But what happened was not okay. And the kind of smug reaction from some of the people who've been brought in and charged, that's not cool, and that speaks volumes itself. And I think a lot of people also want to know, what's the last thing you remember before you were knocked out? The last thing.
I just remember having my arms up and then just begging, please, please stop. And I just remember thinking that would help to calm everyone down, because they had their 15, 20 minutes of beat down time. And then I had thought, you know, if I really thought that I could help. And it's so unfortunate that, you know, they also had attacked me instead of calming down.
And you will, when you came to, when you regained consciousness, where were you? Were you still lying down on the pavement?
Oh, I was laying down, yeah, and I heard a woman's voice, which had me very panicked, just saying, please, please wake up, please. And I had no idea what was going on, but when I go back and watch the video, it appears that there were a few people who were trying to run at my body as I was knocked out. I feel like they were coming to also curb stomp my face like they did to some of the others, and she had protected me, but she also had been attacked in the very beginning of the fight, trying to help stop it. And so it was very brave of her to come and jump in, but that's what I woke up to, that, and I knew that I was in danger, and I had to just get up, you know, and figure out what's going on later, but I just knew by the sound of her voice I had to get up now.
And you took an Uber home? No ambulance?
Yeah, I did. No, and my face was still completely bloodied. All of our faces, the victims, when we were talking to the 2 police officers that did finally show up, they did not call for backup. They did not call for ambulance. And I just remember, you know, my Uber, after all of this, my Uber had finally showed up. And I just remember the police officers were being very nonchalant. And they were kind of blowing us off, kind of like, okay, you were in a fight, cool. There were still 100 people on the streets. Like, there were still people gathered everywhere. And then seeing us bloody and some of their shirts were torn, they didn't even get a statement from me. Actually, they didn't even take down my name, come to think of it. So they got a few of the others' names only because the victims were insisting that they take down their information. And
Holly,
I remember just getting in my Uber.
Hold on. They didn't take, the police did not take your statement or interview you, really interview you, or write down your name or address?
They didn't even ask my name.
What?
No.
Wow.
And one of the victims, it took him 3 times of kind of being very persistent, like aggressive, being like, my name is, write this down. And it took 3 different times for them to write it down. And that's when I got in the Uber. I said, the police don't care. I wasn't even going to file a police report because I was like, what's the point? They're not going to look into this. They don't care. They didn't even want to take down my name.
Well, they weren't interviewing anyone on the scene, Holly? They weren't interviewing anyone in that crowd to give, tell us what happened. What'd you see? Nothing.
No, not at all. They were leaning up against their police car, and they literally had their arms crossed like this, and they were like, I don't remember the words they were saying, but just by their demeanor and their attitude, it was a disgrace, absolute disgrace. And that's when I was like, I'm not going to stick around for this. It was so offensive on so many levels, the way we were treated, that I just went home and went to bed and was like, I just need to sleep this off. Which is wild because I had a concussion and literally blood all over my face. You would think that the guy would say, the police officer, one of them would say, ma'am, you're not okay. I'm calling for help, or, can I at least get your name? They didn't ask my name.
Holly, when I first saw this video, I thought this is a story about just not one night, but about how things can quickly get out of control in a city where we have a permissive attitude in some cases toward crime. And those people who did that, they didn't think there were going to be any consequences. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it.
That's right.
But
absolutely,
we're going to stay on this story. We appreciate your coming on exclusively on the Ingram Angle. And Holly, please keep in touch with us, and we're going to continue to pursue this about the way the police handled this.
Thank you.
The mayor's responding to it, the councilwoman, all of them. Holly, thank you very much, and we wish you the very best.
That hurts my heart. It truly hurts my heart to see that this woman only wanted to help, but in the midst of her willingness to help strangers, she gets beat up brutally. That's sad. And another thing too, I really just want to stress this point. If the roles had been reversed, right? If it had been a mob of white people jumping on a few black people, would there have been the same reaction? Would there have been the same consequences? I think it would have been worse. I think if it was a brawl of white people jumping on a few black people and had punched a black woman in the face, there would be all types of riots. There would be protests. There would be arsoning in the street. There would be all types of Black Lives Matter movements going on, protests in all these streets and on the highways and everything. It'll be extremely viral. It will be the talk of the country. It will probably be another George Floyd situation. I know that it would. I can't even sit here and say probably. I know for a fact that the world, the Democrats, they would turn up if it was the other way around. But no, since it was black people beating up white people, they're trying to keep it on the hush hush. They're trying to keep it on the low low. And that's just not right. It's not right, because white people are people too. They are human beings. They are children of God as well. And they deserve the same fairness and the same respect as any other race in this country. I just know for a fact that the consequences, this situation would not have happened if the roles were reversed. That's how you know white supremacy is not a freaking thing. It's not a thing. There's no such thing. But I do believe in black supremacy, and we clearly see it in this video. There were no consequences in the beginning for these people beating up these white people and punching that white woman in her face. There were no consequences. But video had to surface. Videos had to go viral in order for the correct things to happen to these criminals, these thugs. Yeah, I said it. It's true. I truly believe in my whole heart that if it was the other way around, the situation wouldn't be like it is right now. It'll be way, way, way much more elevated, for sure. But let me know what y'all thinking below in the comments. Let me know what y'all thinking about this. And yeah, we got to stop all the racism. Black people, we got to stop the racism. It happened 200 years ago. Let's let it go.